back to the Boise State Esports Arena as we jump from PEC into Mountain West. We're here at the Boise State Esports Arena to continue our season for Overwatch 2. Earlier today, our Boise State Broncos toppled Kansas in the PEC spring season, and now they look to carry that energy over as they face the San Jose State University Spartans. Broncos, and it's now time to get into the Mountain West matchup. Over here at the casting desk, as before, I'm calling all the action here with Eric as we get to jump into our second matchup of the night. We had a lot of energy in that first match from the team.
Yes.
They were raring to go with the speed that they were jumping into every fight and ending a lot of those games.
I mean, that's to be expected from the five-time champions of the Mountain West, and we had a lot of concerns as to how things are going to go now that there was a new patch that came out for Overwatch, and to see the adaptations that were going to come through, those concerns quickly put to rest. This team is well prepared. Our Broncos looking good today.
And, not just prepared, but excited, which I think was one of my favorite things about the interview. There's moments where people will be like, an update that brings new challenges, like, things to deal with. Oh, they changed how this character worked. But hearing that it's overall just they're excited to jump in, to have new stuff to work with, and to, have the niche things that they've worked on supported. Like, say, we were talking a lot about Strider on Wrecking Ball and how that is one of the niches being supported by the new sub-roles. It's just great to hear that, and, always good when you're competitively playing and you just get more stuff to make your things fun.
And it's kind of crazy to think about because Vendetta still feels so new to me. And the fact that we have 5 new champions, I believe not going to be tournament legal just yet. We might have some time on that. But seeing how this is all coming together, though, is really awesome because now that we have Clear on Vendetta, Strider on the Wrecking Ball, and seeing how they are able to sync up together, how they play together, how they're able to attack together. It allows them to take these creative angles, and the rest of the team, they know how to play without having that direct front line, so they complement that playstyle so well.
Yeah, it's definitely, when I've looked at Overwatch before, the non-standard approach, people really do like to stand behind the tank and let the tank take all the punishment, but the Boise State Broncos are like, you know what? No, we're a team, we're all together, go let our players here, Strider as well as Clear, jump into the fray as we get to look at the entire roster for the Boise State Broncos here and those who will be playing tonight.
We get Lyric, Hex, Daydream, Doc Haskell leading the entire roster, hopefully to another championship in the Mountain West. But you know what we got to talk about? How do you win this game, Audrey? How do you take a dub when you're playing Overwatch?
Well, the one way to do that we always know to do, is the keys to the game. And that, in Overwatch, is never take a fair fight. Tank and DPS move together. We were just calling that out, Strider and Clear. Pummel your opponent and get good ult value. Doc's Keys to the Games are brought to you by Blue Ribbon Painting. With over 90 years of combined experience, they are proud to be Boise's go-to team of local, multi-generational painters who know how to level up your home. Visit blueribbonpainting.net.
And you want to talk about good all value. I think what we saw on the PC is a good demonstration of that. Some of the setups that we had, one of the most criticized things about Vendetta is while she has an awesome kit, sometimes a little bit difficult to play around, her ult is very telegraphed. It's something you can see coming from a mile away and you can't take cover from. Clear, even with that, still found creative angles where, he got 4 to 5 kills off of one corridor in the Kansas
nasty.
Game 1. Yeah, stuff like that. So knowing how to utilize those ultimates, even if it's Maxwell on the Cassidy, knowing that, hey, even Deadeye, it's something that's very telegraphed, something you hear, it's high noon. And what do? You take cover. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage. They're trying to push up, stop you from kind of taking over, and then they have to take cover and just run away. Being able to use that as kind of suppressing fire in a way is always nice.
Yeah, generally speaking, I feel like, in every esports game, there's the meta, right?
Yeah.
The character that is so good that you have to shake in your boots and they get banned every time. But at the same time, one thing that I've heard a lot from Overwatch players and some of the other players on our other esports teams is sometimes the meta doesn't matter as much as your comfortability with the character. And just because a character has an ability that isn't as favorable doesn't mean you can't find those answers. And we were watching that. Like you said, Clear got that for knockout, where it was 2 with the ultimate and then jumping in right after and capitalizing on the opening, and just stuff like that you can do. And I think because of the fun of like a team game where you can find those interesting comps, there's so much more opportunities than just looking at like, oh, that character, the best. They have the best value, the best ultimate, and everything. It's like, no, that person is also the one who now has a target on their back.
I mean, that's always going to be the case in every single game, is there's always going to be these characters that are kind of overlooked and seen as, like, devalued and whatnot. I think of, like, Panda in Tekken, for example. I think of Garen in League of Legends. There are players for both of those characters who have made them shine out in major tournaments in the past. It's always awesome to see, and it's the same thing that's, regardless of the title you play, including Overwatch, can be very real.
Yeah, and that's the fun, I think, of just how much play that you get in Collegiate, too. Like, the experimentation that they get to do back and forth as they're going through these seasons, trying stuff out, new things. And that's one of the fun things about those new characters that we're talking about. Like, 5 new characters. Normally, you know, in the past, it's been 1 character per season. You know, drop 1 new character, 1 new gimmick. 5 is going to be a crazy shakeup to have so many new variables to be accounting for. And I know that all of the Overwatch players are very excited to be doing that and trying it all out.
Yeah, quick shout out to Daydream, as you saw on the camera right there. Daydream, a player for the squad, but also does a lot of works for the social media of Boise State Overwatch. If you want to follow that, you better be following that. Have you followed that? Boise State OW.
Don't out me. Don't out me. I don't think I've opened my social media in some time, but if I do, it will be to follow the Overwatch social media. And now we get to jump into our first matchup here, looking at Lijiang Tower with a little bit more classic. I see a Reaper going to be knocked out and a Doomfist. No jumping in from the window for any team here. Not allowed this time, and no one wants to get caught off guard by Reaper ultimate in that middle spot, because it can be nasty.
Unless it's me, where you hear the die, immediately after.
I enjoy that he has a sound effect, like when he gets knocked out, because it just makes it so much funnier when your ult gets canceled, and especially for him, because I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had that happen myself. This is why we're on the desk, as I said earlier.
Oh yeah, 100%. What characters do you used to play?
Oh my gosh. Tracer, and a lot of DPS, and then I learned that I was too much of a hesitator, and so then I moved to tank. And I you know what? I enjoy my Reinhardt. I enjoy my classic put up the shield and move forward.
That's fair. When I used to play, I already mentioned it, but Reaper was definitely one of them. Wasn't that good with the ult. Roadhog was another. Mainly because I like to try and pull people off the map. Kind of something we might see with Strider. He's on his Wrecking Ball. He loves to do something like that.
Yeah, all the fun that you can have with that. Now I understand why you were so excited about it in the Kansas game.
Yeah, but as we get into the start of this one, Broncos versus the Spartans. Again, defending champions. They've held control of the Mountain West for so long. They've already started off spectacularly in Week 1 and looking to continue that momentum as we get into Game 1.
Ooh, as we were talking about, we see the combo, Strider and Clear moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
Going through the middle, looking for that sneaky opportunity around, but the Spartans are moving into the area they saw where the Broncos are, trying to look for the knockout. Hex will go down. The Broncos aren't just out yet, getting a knockout onto Cassidy. Going a little bit of a back and forth here. Both teams looking for that, and Maxwell taking the high ground here, finding an opportunity for some room, but having to watch out for hazards. Environmental danger here. Strider undeterred.
Not a bad start coming out from the Spartans already. But just like that, Strider's able to get in there. This is pretty tough, though. He is going to need some support if he wants to hold this for as long as he can. But thanks to the rest of the Broncos showing up, that's 2 down for the Spartans.
Ooh, now with so much space to work with. Not much that the Spartans can do here. Now needing to look for that reset opportunity. A little bit of back and forth, looking for that next direction to go. Trying to do something similar to what the Broncos did before, but it might not work out here. Clear jumping towards Hazard, trying to get the tank knock out. San Jose State holding strong so far. A lot of back and forth, and Clear goes down. Putting up quite the fight here to try and contest the point once more.
Yeah, I'll give it to the Spartans. They held their ground pretty well against Clear. And without Clear, you're not going to have as much forward offensive, but that's okay because they already had control of the point.
Speaking of forward offensive, the minefield is out. Boise State does not want to leave the Spartans anywhere near that point, and now looking for that cleanup. Going back and forth in the corner, although Nover is hanging on, getting close to the ult. Only by themselves, not a lot of backup to speak of, and Maxwell just taking pot shots, almost getting the knockout on that. Lyric does go down. Loss of support for the Broncos, but High Noon has been called, and Deadeye creating a little extra space.
Yeah, that's the main purpose right there. You saw that the High Noon was held for quite a while from Maxwell, but a lot of that was the zoning potential. You don't want to use it at a bad time. You need to sync it up with your team.
Spotted up top, now needing to try and dodge, but not able to get away from Nover. Hex winning the support mirror matchup right there. But the Broncos need to take a second to breathe and reset. The Spartans will be able to put themselves on the board, but they need to be ready for the retake.
Spartans fighting back right now, but ultimates are coming up for the Broncos. 3 available for this next offensive push. Tell they're going for control. Kitsune Rush already used, and the Broncos move forward.
Both teams committing in that opportunity, but only one finding the real victory here, gaining the point back. The Broncos now looking to create disruption. Strider in the backline, trying to find some heals and not get knocked out, using the verticality of that room to run away. However, that just continues to put San Jose in a spot where they cannot fully take back. Now the Spartans trying to find their opportunity, but they are running out of time.
Running out of time quite quick. 95% on the point. There's the ultimate. Clear!
Oh my gosh. You know, we were talking about how telegraphed that is, but you know, I think it just makes it more fun to see when we know it's going to go through. 3 knockouts in one, securing the Bronco win. Wow!
Can we call Unbottled early? Because that right there was absolutely incredible, Audrey.
I think we can absolutely call that Unbottled. We were talking about how much that ult is a struggle, but I think that's your Unbottled play of the game. Presented by local dairy farm families.
Yeah.
Perform, refuel, recover, repeat. Visit unbottled.com to learn more. Just like, I think he heard us talking about the ult.
Yeah.
And went, watch this.
That's one of the nice things. I mean, it was a very long corridor, so it's hard to get out into cover to get away from that Vendetta ultimate. So it very much earned that Unbottled right there. But round 1 going the way of the Broncos.
Jumping in once again, Strider in the back line, causing chaos here. Going around, looking for those heals. Going for the crazy angle around. You know, one thing you can do on this map that you can't on others. Broncos just looking to find the opportunity to hold the point. Hazard jumping in, Nover looking to create that room for the Spartans. Strider and Clear trying to clear the way here, and they do get 2 knockouts. Just need 3 more. Looking for that opportunity, and that is 3 players down and a lack of opportunities for the Spartans now.
And that's a lot of room that was created by Strider. He went back there, which meant a lot of the Spartans had to double back to make sure this tank's not going to be on their tail. This allows the Broncos to gain control very early of the battlefield around that point, and it made it a challenge for the Spartans to step up, and ends up resulting in a teamfight won by the Broncos.
Ooh, jumping into the next one, Nover jumps in front of the team, but no support is there, and they are going to be taken down. Now, into the back line once more. Strider boldly moving forward is going to be knocked out, but it has caused the confusion needed for Clear to jump in and once again go for the cleanup here.
I mean, he went bowling. He didn't exactly get a strike, but he set up the rest of his team to clear this out. As now the Spartans do have a way to push forward. Going to be down 2 right now. Are the Broncos? Strider looking to hold out.
Ooh, going around the side once again, really using the walls to his advantage here. Coming back around, looking for an opportunity, sees the Tracer, wants to knock out Roosty, not able to, resilient with all of that utility, and instead gonna throw the minefield directly on the point, and once again, shut down a lot of opportunities. With Maxwell on the Deadeye, they are absolutely showing no one should be on this point right now if they are Spartan.
And again, it's a good zoning ult. It's not going to find any kills, but it got the Spartans to scatter, and that's exactly what the Broncos wanted because it gives them an opportunity to take control of the point and continue this lead.
Yeah, now in a lot more comfortable spot, Strider can continue the wall crawling shenanigans here. Just preparing for ultimate death from above. I love just the little sneaky play.
They're not even looking up. They don't realize what's about to rain from above.
Oh, Deadeye from the side of San Jose, but it's not going to go through. Does take out Clear. It might find some room. Spartans are going for all of the ultimate activation here, trying to create some space for themselves, but it doesn't look like they actually managed to get it through. Oh, Hazard just barely crawling up, only to get knocked down once again.
At the Broncos, there's no one left for San Jose. So it's going to be a point taken. Once again, the Broncos showing just how good they are and that they dominate this league in style.
Just controlled the point, captured the tempo, and denied any opportunity. If I had to guess what the play of the game is going to be,
I'm going to take a good guess.
I don't know. What would it be? Oh,
I wonder.
there it is, right? As soon as I saw Clear, I'm like, what might the game want to showcase to us? With that, the Broncos put the first point on the board. Get ready to jump into the second game, just like you could get your degree on a schedule that works for you. Boise State Extended Studies, maybe if you feel like it, offers a variety of fully online courses and degrees to help you get your degree on your schedule. Visit boisestate.edu/extended studies for more details.
So a great first map coming out from the Broncos, 2-0 on capturing the point, and a lot of that came through really smart strategic play. It's the thing you always have to commend Strider for because the rest of his team follows up and syncs up very well when it comes to his ability to displace the Spartans. Goes in with that Wrecking Ball. We saw it early in round 2 where he goes straight for the spawn and then just swings all the way back to the point. A big part of that just pulls the Spartans in different directions, and by that point, you have control of the battlefield, which means fight should go your way.
And that's a map that just lends so well to what Wrecking Ball wants to do. Plenty of places to grab onto to gain momentum and, sneak around. I enjoyed the moments, we were watching all the action, but, when Wrecking Ball, Strider was, hiding behind the little plant box, just shimmying side to side, because I was like, ooh, he's getting ready. He's getting ready to sneak attack them. And it's just so fun to see that kind of gameplay, because, like we were talking about, it's a very irregular tank type of behavior, and that's why it's so effective. It throws you off. You're not used to it. The tank, like I said, typically standing in front, and he kind of is so far front that he's behind you.
I do think the Spartans showed a decent attempt in the first round more than the second. The first round, I think a big part of that was they were able to somewhat neutralize Strider quite a bit. When he would go in, it's like kind of a tight room that you have to maneuver around, which means, hey, you can get more crowd control onto this Wrecking Ball and, eventually just pick it off. Without the Wrecking Ball, this allows Spartans to play towards their game plan and capture the point as they did a few times in that match. It's just ultimately, hey, go down the wrong corridor and suddenly Clear's ulting you.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, too, for that second game was that they had a really good opportunity near the end there. But as we were talking about, you need to make good commits with your ultimates. Just did not pan out the way that they were hoping it would. They lost too many people before they really ramped up. And that was a really good momentum opportunity. And I could see what they were trying to figure out, but it just did not go through. But it looks like they've had enough of a certain someone we've been calling out after that. And it looks like Vendetta is, in fact, on the chopping block this time around.
Zarya gonna round out those bans as well. So, Clear's gonna have to go back to maybe some traditional DPS routes here. But
no jumping over the buildings today.
Right. Especially in Kings Row. We saw in the Kansas game what a Vendetta can do in Kings Row.
Yeah, you just buildings are a suggestion. It's like a little play place rather than a giant freaking city. It's insane. It's like, oh my gosh. The hops on this character. And I can understand wanting to neutralize that because I think it really invalidates a lot of what the strengths of like King's Row is, which is that it forces you into these tight hallways where you have to be really, really smart about how you play. And when you can just kind of jump over the hallway,
have a bird's eye view.
Yeah, it changes up the game. And so I think it's a really, like, you know, picks and bans are really important. There's so many characters, but that is a big one for sure. You know, we've seen the Zarya ban on King's Row last time too, so, you know, just don't let them extend the fight with copious amounts of bubbles.
One thing I will say, the displacement game that's been played out of the Broncos, I feel like is really a game plan coming together beautifully. I already mentioned Strider. We can talk back and forth to the moon about that, but I want to point out Maxwell. Maxwell is someone who I think of that round number 2 in the last game we just watched, right? He uses the Deadeye. Doesn't kill anyone with the Deadeye. Hey, you don't need to. It's all about displacing.
It's just about scaring. It's a scare tactic, and it works really well. I think so many ultimates look like they're for knocking people out when they're really just about creating that space. And
the
totally
dopamine
agree.
rush of getting like the entire team with Deadeye is
so
awesome,
good,
but it's so rare, and you got to find other ways to utilize it. I think Maxwell did a good job with that, and yeah, again, displacement, the name of the game, I would say, for Broncos.
Yeah, and also I'd like to call out just that, you know, his general placement where he is also really good. You know, he's not always at the front, but he's always in a spot where he's chipping away at people's health, you know, in the first matchup. And I would not be surprised, you know, shocker, we see the Widowmaker doing the same exact thing. Clear swapping to the Pharah to get a similar verticality, maybe not as fast. And once again, Strider in the corridor, moving forward, going up against Roosty here. Both a speedy duo here, looking for that backup. Clear runs in and goes, okay, you two.
Yeah, a little game of cat and mouse being played, just hamster and girl, I suppose. But Clear will break that up nonetheless with a couple of rockets coming in. The Broncos already with control coming through as they push forward towards the point. I mean, past the point even.
Yeah, who needs, you know, I mean, opponent can't get to the point if you're past the point and holding the line, and that ends up working out for the Broncos here, as we see already the Spartans looking to just kind of hold this next sticky corner instead of trying to commit too many resources. The Broncos now moving forward, Clear using the jet propulsion to just make some extra space for the team, get a little bit of a view of what's going on. And of course, Strider is on top of a building.
Yep, just bouncing back and forth.
Looking for some prey to jump on and capitalize on.
Clear's getting low here, though. This could be a little bit dangerous, so I'm going to pull back. Just a touch is the Broncos. They still got the payload moving, however.
Looking for that new opportunity, contesting with Roosty, swapping to the Echo to try and get a little bit more airborne support here, it looks like. Strider moving around, a little bit more back and forth on the point. Nover trying to hold down the line, using those strengths of Orisa, but Strider with the great catch on everything, and Maxwell with the Deadeye. They need to be careful here, or they might get caught in unfortunate circumstances pretty soon.
Yeah. AC has the Deadeye active, but he's not going to find anything off it. It was an attempt to zone, but it's going to go to the wayward, as they weren't able to really get control of that corridor, so they had to peel back nonetheless. Maxwell might be looking for an angle with this ult.
Oh, we see it. Oh! Hindered! AC was the faster draw in the West there that time around, but with the main battle going on, doesn't matter, as the Broncos were able to clear up the primary battlefield and get a team kill off.
Yeah, the 1 versus 1. I appreciate it. Maxwell almost had it there, but AC is going to get the better of it. Doesn't matter. Sometimes just drawing that attention puts the Broncos in a good spot. And the spots keep getting better. 2 picks. Not exactly 2, actually. Got to hold my thought on that. Sometimes I just see the scoreboard and just assume it's a character getting picked off, but still the Broncos getting an advantage.
Hex holding strong, looking just to support the team from the back line, as the Broncos looking for that angle, and there it is. Strider with the minefield once again, does get slept by TMO4, trying to deny any more shenanigans, but the space has been cleared. Daydream and Strider do go down. Boise State being held back a little bit more than earlier, but not completely out of it yet. Maxwell looking for potential opportunity, might have to back off. And the Spartans are able to create some space, but that payload is so close to the end already.
Give some credit where credit is due for the Spartans. This Ana pick is actually doing a bit of work. Getting a lot of sleeps going in makes it hard for Strider to play his game plan. Same thing with Clear. If he gets slept out from the sky, it leaves him as kind of a sitting duck. But here comes another offense now coming in from the Broncos.
Yeah, looking for those opportunities, using the top of the building to create some safety. Nover swapping to the Doomfist, speeding around a little bit, looking for a quick pick on one of the squishier characters as Strider gets stuck in the backline, is saved and able to move forward, holding strong here. Daydream going to activate the ultimate, creating more speed, damage, and everything you need to take this to the end line, and the Broncos making that push. AC trying to find the opening, but it's not fully there, but Maxwell will go down as Strider holds the line, getting the knockout, just staying right there. Oh my gosh, almost got 3 people through, and Clear with the volley of rockets is gonna help end that round.
Strider, remember, he's playing a tank? I do not think so. He just comes rolling on in, taking names left and right. A brilliant display coming out from the Broncos. You can see it right here. This was the cleanup that Strider was able to get, just picking off member after member of the Spartans, and it gives enough room to push this payload for the win.
Oh, just great coordination from the Broncos there, able to take it through, and now it's the Spartans' turn to try and see how they can compete compared to how the Broncos went. They were very fast through it, though I will say holding them back near that end point was really good, creating a little bit of extra room for themselves for this their attempt at the push now.
Spartans, I do think they played a decent game in that last one. It's not well enough.
I almost felt like they respected Broncos push a little too much at the very beginning. Like, I will always commend not just charging in headstrong and dying and then having to get the respawn, but there was a couple times where I'm like, that's really far back.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're giving them a lot of space. And like, on certain maps, I get it, but for payload, you know, the more headway you get, the dangerous it is. But they've shown that they can hold the line when they need to, and we'll have to see if they can use that while they are on the attack now.
Again, I will say the Spartans had some decent game plans out there. Taking the Ana was a good one to try and sweep the skies out from Clear, just range death from above. See what strategy they come up for this offense, trying to take the payload, see if they can grab command of that, but it's already a tough one. Nover grabs a kill onto Daydream. So we'll see if the Broncos can bounce back.
Sneaks around, finding the support. Strider, once again, in the backline over here, looking for an opportunity, rolling around, just avoiding getting caught in too many spots, looking for the potential pick, sees the 2 players up above, tries to go for the attack onto the Sojourn. AC going in the backboard, not going to find it, goes straight into the Tracer, low on health, now needing to find other opportunities. Clear does manage to find the knockout onto that player. They are able to find their way onto the objective, looking to push up and get the payload.
Daydream getting picked off there, but Strider still being an absolute menace for this offense coming out from the Spartans. Axel grabbing a kill, now Clear. Gotta be pretty gentle about this approach. Grabs that health pack. Broncos are down. Maxwell. Spartans down their support. Now the Spartans, they might be able to get at least to contest this payload.
Strider going up against the other tank, actually seeing each other for once instead of him being in the backline here. Hex in the backline with the support, looking to give the heals to Strider here and see if they can pick off anything. Taking a lot of punishment right now. Nover just moving up, creating some space here for the team as the Spartans are able to create a little wall to create some extra room. They might be able to find it here. Strider, however, is still hanging on and is going to be knocked out by Roosty. With that, the payload is active. The Spartans now able to move forward.
There's a lot of damage, a lot of mobility on these Spartans. That's what's helping them, at least on this first capture of the point. But now here's where things are going to get pretty tricky. You're going to have these long, long corridors that you need to fight through. And the Broncos are very good when it comes to that type of terrain.
Yep. Clear Using the invisibility to sneak around, does have the ultimate. That could be nasty to shut anything down, especially with 4 ultimates that San Jose would probably love to be using to create some more space for themselves here. So you know exactly what they're going to do, and they are hacked. That's going to allow for so much space. Strider going for the knockouts here, 2 players down.
Oh!
A lot of back and forth on the knockout. Strider being knocked all the way to the back of the map, but there is a slowdown here. No one on the payload to push it forward.
Payload's on the move.
Yeah, clear sacrifice, not going to be in vain. Gets the ultimate out before going down. The rest of the Broncos, they rush forward, and they stop the initial push of this payload. The Spartans, they get back to work. Now Strider, it's been a little bit difficult for Strider to maintain health here, especially being separated from the squad, but does have the minefield to run some interference on this backline.
Yeah, we see exactly that's going to be launched out every time we start talking about it. Sure enough, that's when Strider is going to want to pop it, creating some space, looking for the Lucio, getting rid of the supports, and Nova going down in combination with Marksall. Huge moment for the Broncos here, as now all of the DPS are looking for their opportunity, going to get smacked out of the way. Broncos aren't playing around. They're like, no, no, no. Take a pause here.
Oh, man. Strider giving AC a pat on the back. Good job, but now you are dead. Good stuff to see from the Broncos, and especially their tank player, who's been phenomenal through this game so far, making up for that ban. We lost the Vendetta, but we still got the hamster.
Ooh, at least until Nova knocks him out once again.
That gas curse.
It will always happen, but with that, the Spartans are feeling a little bit more comfortable about moving up. The Broncos need to create a little more space, but not Maxwell activating the ultimate and getting the heals up to stick around as long as possible, put up as much punishment as can be done. It's not going to quite work. Have to contend with the Tracer, but Roosty goes down despite the setup they were looking for.
Yeah, Maxwell still gets Roosty on the back end, but ultimately, it's looking to go the way of the Spartans, and they do have quite a few ultimates. Tune Rush, they also have the sound barrier to work with as they push forward. And this might be a good opportunity for the Spartans to at least try and get some decent distance on this payload.
Yeah, they do have a lot of survivability here until Lucio goes down to Daydream and Strider here. Maxwell switching to the Tracer, trying to get a little bit more movement around. Looking after Nova, they want to get that tank out of the way. San Jose moving to the back. State is trying to find their opportunity, but not going to go through, clearing Strider, knocking out 2 more players once again.
The Spartans really holding on to these 2 ultimates. Sound barrier going to be a big one, but Clear is now charged and ready. You can see Strider, he's being an absolute menace and has not stopped when it comes to this back line, running both in and out, getting chased just a touch by Roosty. Now, someone's sneaking in for their prey.
SJSU sitting ducks with all of that back and forth. 3 players down. Clear trying to contest Nova, does get knocked out, but Strider is here for the backup. Minefield goes out once again. They want to try and cap the point, but that 5-player kill streak says otherwise. Nasty.
Big hamster ball and a pretty big play coming out from Clear. Jumps onto the back line, pops the ultimate, and it stops any forward momentum that the Spartans had. See that Pika Pepper still has his ultimate off of that push. Wasn't able to get it off in the back end of things, but might have a chance to get up now.
Big momentum forward, going through the back. You can see that they are trying to catch them from the back, going to activate the bomb as well for Tracer, trying to create that space. Doesn't end up knocking anyone out, but it's definitely something to worry about, and we see not quite making as much movement forward as they want to right now, being contested back and forth on the payload right now.
Ooh, Strider going down to Roosty. Roosty's doing a pretty good job with this Tracer. That's someone that the Broncos are going to have to watch out for. Try and put a stop to as they recover to counter this next push from the Spartans.
60 seconds.
Not a lot of time left, however, for the Spartans here. Minute left. They need to get the payload to the point before it's too late. And Strider is definitely working to stop that, going after the opposing team's Kiriko looking to support Hunt right now, knocking out AC and looking for the Lucio here, trying to find a way to run, but Strider won't let it happen. Rolling forward with the support of his team, looking for that opportunity. Oh, gotta be careful. And Strider is not having any of it. We're trying to hold down and create as much disruption as possible.
It was a nice pick from Hex. Was able to grab Roosty, which has been a menace in kind of disorganizing the Broncos. But now looking to hold. There's 15 seconds left on the clock, and Strider's still getting business done.
Ooh, and clear with the ultimate as well. There's a lot of room to work with. Maxwell so close to charging. Does get the... No, Roosty getting a double knockout, actually, on the team. San Jose finding a lot of momentum there at the end, and we do hit overtime here. Broncos have an opportunity, and they see it! Clear, going for that disabling ultimate, not letting any of that util go through, and Nover, the last one there with some help from Roosty. Now all gone, having to try and find an opportunity up against Strider. Oh, but Strider's knocked down. The Spartans, having a really strong cleanup near the end there, are able to find the payload and dunk it into the point at the end, really locking down where the Broncos were.
Advantage will still go over to the Broncos, but Spartans, I have to shout out Roosty. His ability to play this Tracer and kind of weave into the back line. You did see that bomb getting picked on to, I think it was Strider, towards the tail end of that. That was some great interference really played by Roosty. It was not as fast as the Broncos got the payload in, so the Broncos still going to be in a better situation here, but the Spartans have shown they can at least throw their own blows.
You know, the big thing I feel like is it's their kind of answer of like who's disrupting. It is Roosty right now, and it is putting in some work because it's hard to be a disruptor when you're being disrupted yourself.
Yep.
And definitely seeing that, creating some extra space for them. But yeah, now they need to contest. Both teams made it to the payload, but only one of them can win the round. And so that's what we're here to see now. Who's going to be able to figure that out and find their way to the end there?
Name of the game for Broncos, try and take out Roosty. If you track this Tracer, again, Tracer, very, very squishy character. Hex was able to get one of the last kills that we had on Roosty. That's a very significant thing.
Yeah.
As now the Broncos now on the offensive.
Yeah, moving forward once again. They have plenty of time to work with. They're going to use it to their full advantage here. Yep, going to back up Strider in the corner, and there is Roosty, like you were talking about. Now moving on to Nover, the next pane in their side, but pushing up so far means that you're in the clutches of Broncos and knocked out. Lucio trying to back away, not able to save the tank.
Oh!
Unfortunately, might not be enough. Daydream getting the revive onto Maxwell, keeping the momentum forward for the Broncos so they don't have to pull back.
And there's Roosty being an absolute menace, but guess what? It's already done. That's one push and a win for Boise State. They targeted what they needed to in that one as they ran in, right? One was, hey, take out Roosty. The other one was take out Nover. Back to back, they get those kills, and there was nothing left for San Jose, so the Broncos going to take this game too. And even with that sleep coming out from the Ana, gives the play of the game over to Clear.
Yeah, despite the sleep, it ended up being what they needed. But as we are continuing forward, you know, we want to take a moment to, you know, call out the unbottled play of the game once again, presented by local dairy farm families. Reform, refuel, recover, repeat. Visit unbottled.com to learn more.
Players got plenty of that dairy protein, their systems, and definitely shows with these plays they're able to make as we get the camera locked on Clear right there. You can ban out Strider, excuse me. You can ban out the... That was Clear, you're right.
That was Clear, yeah.
You can ban out the Vendetta, but at the end of the day, there's still more left in the wheelhouse there. One of the things we saw from the Vendetta Wrecking Ball combo was how they can take to the rooftops and kind of take control of the field. By grabbing the Pharah onto Clear this time, because the Vendetta being bound away, it was a nice little change of pace, right, when they were doing their offense, because they could still play towards that kind of high ground method that they were doing.
Yeah, I agree. Something else I wanted to shout out for the Spartans too was actually we were talking about Roosty at the end there, but I also wanted to call out Nover, who playing the Hazard has been doing a really good job of not getting knocked out and just being always in the spot you don't want him to be. And that's something I think will be interesting as we go into this next match, because you were talking about like the disruption, right? When your tank isn't the disruptor, then it becomes always that second problem. You were calling out how Roosty needed to be knocked out. I noticed that then the next issue, immediately turn around, where's the tank?
Yeah.
Knock out the Hazard. And I think that's an interesting thing to see. They lost a lot of that verticality, and it became an issue for trying to get around characters like Hazard, who can jump around and deal with that. And so I wouldn't be shocked if that's what the Spartans were going for, and something that they'll probably continue to do for this third game, as, this is the make it or break it right now.
Yeah, match point. For the Spartans, they need a reverse sweep, 3 games back to back to back, if they want to take this against the defending champions, the Boise State Broncos.
Yeah, they put up a lot of good, plays in the second game. They were able to hold back the Broncos and kind of recover there. And, in that moment where they managed to get the payload through, when I looked at it at first, is that the monkey? It is the monkey.
Yeah.
I think we might be getting a teaser, potentially.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah. Shout out to Diamond Dog, thank you.
But what was I going to say? I was thinking on the desk, I don't think they're going to get this. Like, the Broncos are going to jump in, they're going to get the knockout, but they did find what they needed there. And so I think that, although this is match point and the reverse sweep seems like it's not going to be fully there, but I think they have some potential here that I'm interested to see how they choose to play that, building off of Roosty's just true disruption that we've been seeing throughout that.
I don't know. Maybe like on a team play level, I don't feel like they're as locked in as the Broncos are when it comes to team play level. But individual skill, I will give some credit over to the Spartans. Roosty, Nover, those two are definitely the powerhouses, as we had mentioned. But when it comes to team play, I've always loved this about the Broncos. It's their ability to play together as a squad, to understand what their game plan is. I know Doc Haskell, the coach in the background that you can see right there, does come up with a lot of compositions for them to go through, has a lot of VOD reviews that he runs with the team so they can understand, hey, when you play this comp, you have this win condition and we have to execute on it.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, it's a team game. So individual play does help in a lot of ways, but if the team isn't working together, then you're not going to always find the win, and that's why the Broncos have been holding down so strong. They have that coordinated team play that we have been talking about.
Ooh, I was going to ask, what do you ban next? And I forget, you already went after the Vendetta. Now you got to go after the other one. It's going to be the Wrecking Ball. No hamsters allowed.
Yeah, no hamsters for this map, and looks like we're going back to the Reaper denial. Just do not want to see a Death Blossom ultimate activation, it seems, here, which, I get it. He can chew through characters. He just has good damage output. If he manages to get up in your face, it is not a good time.
The Wrecking Ball getting bound away. I know Strider's very big on this character, and I remember having very early interviews with Strider, and, first thing he said is, hey, Wrecking Ball is love, Wrecking Ball is life, just...
So real.
That's all I exist for, but that's not to say he doesn't have other tanks that he can play. We've seen it in the past. Zarya was one that did come out very recently in the Kansas game in PEC. So it's not just a one-trick pony situation. There's plenty of tools still left in the box of Boise State.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have a roster as expansive as this, if you only know one character, you're going to run into issues. Especially when you have something like a pick and ban. You can only...
Competitive play.
Yeah, you can only get so far, and then someone will be like, oh, this is all you know? Gone. But although the Wrecking Ball is going to be pulled away for this match point, I think that just means more than ever Strider will be gunning to jump in and show them that's not all he's got in the tank.
Yeah. And we have to reemphasize it is match point. It's such a tough team for the Spartans to have to face because our Broncos, they know success, they know victory. They've been able to bring it time and time again. A lot of the pictures we have of them are them holding up the multiple rings that they have earned with their time on this program. They want more, though, as they proceed into Game 3 match point for Boise State.
It does look like the answer to the Wrecking Ball disappear, and what I was talking about in the teaser is, in fact, Diamond Dog on the Winston here, jumping into the fray, is going to be taken down by AC, but not the immediate danger here, as Clear does have the Vendetta, was able to create a little bit more room. And here on Flashpoint, there's a lot more moving around to be done.
Yeah, not so too planned for the Broncos off of this first push. Losing quite a bit. Gonna have to look for a counter-offensive to retake this point. Spartan's gonna have first touch.
Diamond Dog stuck around this corner right now looking for potential support, but AC is looking to knock out the monkey right now. Nover jumping in with Doomfist right now too, just not wanting to let the Broncos immediately find their opportunity here. Getting towards that 50% mark, you can tell the Broncos want to find a solution to be able to jump in, but so far the Spartans are doing a good job just keeping up the damage pelting to make it hard to get in without getting knocked out.
And again, it's Roosty on Tracer. Roosty, such a menace on this character, but look at that. Nover's gone down. The second target that we were talking about, Hex being the recipient of that kill, and now suddenly pushing forward.
Maxwell and Lyric jumping in, getting the team kill and pulling away the point narrowly before getting to that 90% marker. You know, the Broncos just needed a little bit of time. They weren't too worried. They're like, yeah, you can have it for a bit.
Yeah, sometimes you know, kind of jump the gun a little bit on your first push, and little mishaps can happen, but once you regroup and regather, you're ready to bring it back to the Spartans.
Kitsune Blessing going out, creating more room for the team here. See, a Deadeye goes through, only getting Hex for the Spartans, not enough. As Maxwell just watching the backline of the point here for the team with Clear on the Cassidy. Oh, Roosty found the support knockout. Rough spot to be as the Spartans have found their momentum and are trying to move forward, getting knocked out. Broncos lose their footing in the Flashpoint again.
Yeah, the hardest part about that was Maxwell had just popped his ultimate when he went down. So not going to get any advantage of the old Soldier 76 aimbot that we love to see. Clear will have his point get locked in for the Spartans, but this is Flashpoint. So this is one of many. As now the Broncos, once again, need to regroup against the Spartans.
And you know, until it unlocks, it's a little bit just of a back and forth. Don't need to commit too crazy any direction. Clear does take out the Lucio, and Diamond Dog moves in, creating some more space for the team, dropping the shield, and moving to stay in front and just keep that wall up. Back and forth trades going. Lyric goes down, but on the other side, they've lost some players too. However, Roosty sneaking in from the behind decided Maxwell was going to be the problem today. Diamond Dog getting the ultimate charged up. We do have some resources to work with, but once again, the Spartans are going to get the first touch onto the point.
Supportal combat results in Hex grabbing that kill, so down the healer. It's going to be the Spartans. Gives Broncos a chance if they want to push forward. Ultimates are available. Sound barrier. Well, going bananas for Diamond Dog. Always going to call that old that, but now looking to chase the rest of the members of the Spartans and push them back.
Yeah, moving forward, just using tactical advantage, and there it goes. Going a little crazy, using that to create some more space. Trying to go for the knockout, does get the Lucio, and just continues forward. You know, nothing the Spartans can do on the point if they can't even get anywhere near it, with the monkey jumping all around. And with that, the Broncos have created a very secure position on this point.
Primal Rage does so much work. You get the knockback, become this extra tanky menace, and you get to, as I said earlier, go absolutely bananas. So great presence really being felt by Diamond Dog off that forward offensive. Point still held by the Broncos, but down goes Diamond Dog.
Ooh, Clear in the back line, getting jumped by Nover and Roosty here, having to dodge back. Maxwell backing up from behind, but the Broncos are going to have to cede control for a little bit and look for a new opportunity, waiting for Diamond Dog to come back and get ready. Looks like Maxwell not ready to give up just yet, putting down the turret and going to look for the point. More than happy to let the Spartans just go fight the Broncos in the backline. It does seem like Clear and Diamond Dog are cleaning up. Great opportunity there. Maxwell trusting the team to get it done and just focusing on locking in the flashpoint.
So far, the Broncos, they're able to even this up 1-1 apiece on flashpoint. We are far from done here. Now moving on to the next one. Broncos regroup, Spartans regroup, and we're waiting for another slugfest.
And the slugfest is here. Diamond Dog jumping into the fray. I hear the Tracer trying to jump around. Roosty looking for that opportunity. Not going to be an issue just yet, as the supports are still holding strong for the Broncos, but Doomfist going in for the ultimate. 2 players down. The Broncos find their opening and push forward, knocking down all but Nover, who's trying to hold on, but it is not going to happen. And the flashpoint open, just ready to celebrate that team kill complete wipe.
Perfect time, and hey, you get time to recover as well and heal up, lick your wounds, and get ready to do another dance with the Spartans as they push forward, looking to retake the point.
Spartans trying to find an opening, but there is a nice little hole here that Over is going to try and jump through with DMO4, backing them up. Clear looking for the pot shots as we hear Deadeye from AC activated. Broncos have to back up, not going to be knocked out. They managed to survive it, but now the fight is on the point and right outside the front door.
Ooh, Broncos are holding ground. Diamond Dog looking to chase them down. Still have the Deadeye available for Clear, but Roosty's down. That's a big pick from Maxwell.
With that in their pocket, they're able to move forward. Looking at the support, Nover cannot hold on. Maxwell and Diamond Dog getting the clear, and then speaking of clear, 2 players down to Cassidy, and the Broncos say, no, you're not taking this point this time.
Yeah, I really love that from Maxwell, being able to find that Tracer, buy so much breathing room for the Broncos to get to work, and that's exactly what they did there.
Oh!
And just like that, Lyric, filthy.
Just went, no, not again, not happening, we're done.
Let's see you try and rewind from that.
That was crazy to see as we now get to go on to what could be the last flashpoint here.
Hey, you know what they say, death is the best crowd control. Final point right here, but look at Ultimates. Diamond Dog, Primal Rage is up and available. There we go.
There it is, using it to keep AC back. Cassidy can't do much if there's no one to go through. Diamond Dog is taken down, but that's a lot of resources that they had to commit to take down Diamond Dog there.
Always hard to get into a good position to use this Deadeye for Clear. With no front line to really fall back on, it is going to be a point belonging to the Spartans.
Oh, that was a nasty stun grenade. The Spartans managed to tag 3 players, and Nover tries to capitalize it, running through. That was an intense knockout that they were able to accomplish. All but Maxwell left for the Broncos. Pulling back, trying to live, but being chased down by Nover. Nover wants that full knockout.
Yeah, Maxwell running for his life, man, but his life is now forfeit. Pika Pepper will grab that. Now, the Broncos, not in the best scenario. They are going to have to take some time to kind of recover and recoup their losses that they got from earlier. See, they're trying to find their way back in, though.
And finding their way back in, Lyric activating the ultimate to create some space, moving forward with so much speed as we hit the 90% marker on the flashpoint. Broncos want to see if they can catch this before it's too late, not wanting to swap. They hit overtime and they managed to take it. The Spartans in a very comfortable spot with the point, but the Broncos have managed to take control and are using that to create some extra space around this area too, trying to go for those knockouts before even getting to put a foot down. Speaking of that, goes for the Deadeye, creating some space for the team.
Okay, I still like that to some end because it forced out the sound barrier at the end of the day. But now the Spartans are fighting their way forward. What else we got here from Clear?
Able to sneak through the side. Clear is taken down. Broncos not able to get there in time. Now 2-2.
It's all down to 1.
It's all down to 1. Either way, this is the last now. Both teams looking to be careful here. The Broncos letting the Spartans get onto the point first, deciding to look for a potential angle for the retake before it unlocks. They don't have to immediately jump on after all. They got a little bit of room to work with.
One of the tricky things about utilizing this Winston is usually you end up diving so far in, and you need to really pick your time, right? If you are caught out, you can drop very quickly, even being that big soaky.
Oh, but we see that go through. The Spartans down 3. The Diamond Dog on the hunt for AC there. Right as the point opens up, the Broncos swoop in to take it.
And that was well played. I was about to say damage sponge. And that's what Diamond Dog needs to do. As long as the backing of the team is there, she does it beautifully.
Yeah, now with the back and forth, trying to go through that side. This area is a lot more open than the previous flashpoints, leading to some interesting shenanigans. Maxwell here on the Vendetta, trying to kind of swap around from what we normally see. Looks like Clear looking for that opportunity here. Oh, and Primal Rage out once again, continuing to just create space and chaos, though San Jose is going to continue forward regardless. Managed to get a foot on the point. Axel trying to create that opening and hold strong, but getting stunned is not a fun spot to be. Luckily, the supports are here, and there is some room, though not for long when Deadeye gets Lyric.
Ooh, all right. Maxwell does grab one, but he's doing his best to try and grab whatever he can on his way out. Diamond Dog, there is a health pack right there for her to grab to be able to recover, and yeah, gonna take that. The Broncos on their way back to the point. Still have sound barrier available for Pico. That's going to be great defensively. The Broncos need to find a way to fight through that.
You know, they have their own sound barrier as well. At least they have some room to work with, and we see pretty even on the ultimates, and it's already going to be activated. Sojourn activating for their side, and Roosty is going to get the knockout, but Clear also finds Pika Pepper. Pika Pepper out of the way now. Diamond Dog able to move on to the spot. The Broncos getting the knockouts left and right here. The fight is not over until the support's gone. TMO4 down, and now Nover and Pika Pepper trying to hold strong, but it's not looking good. Diamond Dog following for that extra measure as the Broncos bring it all the way to 90% here.
Broncos
and going on to overtime.
Overtime.
Here the team in the background getting excited in the moment as they're trying to capitalize on it. Getting the last of the players off. Pika Pepper looking to do it, and it's not going to happen. The Broncos take the flashpoint after a intense back and forth. And that'll be game 3 to the Broncos.
They ban away the hamster, so Doc makes the call. Let's bring in Diamond Dog to be the front line. And just like that, the Broncos bring out the monkey business and get to work on the rest of the squad, finding ways to isolate Roosty, take Roosty out time and time again, keep this offense going. Even with the Spartans feeling like they had a lead early on, it changes in a heartbeat when it comes to Boise State, as they know how to regroup, they know how to adjust, they know how to adapt. They're the 5-time champions for a reason.
And another win under their belt for the day. You know, going from Kansas, jumping over to San Jose State, they're able to clean up and continue forward. Though I will say, the back and forth on Flashpoint was a lot of fun to watch. The Spartans had a lot of good command of the area to rival the Broncos in a lot of ways where they were doing that, though ultimately crumbling near the end there as Broncos teamwork prevailed.
Yeah, so I think it's a great look for the start of Mountain West. Week 1, Week 2, both ending on wins, and we even get to see a little bit of the roster and how much that the Boise State program has developed, right? Because usually we don't get the entire squad in some of the more intense matches, but getting to see Daydream pulled out, Diamond Dog pulled out, responding to the bans that the Spartans had called for. It's a thing of beauty, it's a thing of fun, and it shows just how expansive and talented this roster is.
Yeah, and after that victory, we do have to give a thanks to ICCU for their continued support of Boise State Esports. Thanks to ICCU, Boise State Esports has won multiple national championships and piled up more than 1,500 wins. ICCU, looking after your daily balance. Visit ICCU.com.
All right, so another good game, another good day in the books. I mean, we're looking both at PEC and Mountain West at the grand scheme of things, and for both of those to be handled so well with every single member of Boise State, it really bodes well to not just the PEC season, but this Mountain West season on top of it.
Yeah, and although we do not have any more games for tonight, we do have one more thing for you all. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to do an interview with Diamond Dog to check in on how that match felt and just look at the Mountain West season going forward.
It does look like the answer to the wrecking ball disappear, and what I was talking about in the teaser is, in fact, Diamond Dog on the Winston here, jumping into the fray, is going to be taken down by AC, but not the...
Pushing back.
Using tactical advantage, and there it goes. Going a little crazy, using that to create some more space. Trying to go for the knockout, does get the Lucio, and just continues forward. You know, nothing the Spartans can do. Looking good. Diamond Dog following for that extra measure as the Broncos bring it all the way to 90% here. And going...
Since you guys have been in here, some things have changed. We've updated this place to be in its final form. New cabinets, new counters, all sorts of new stuff in here. This has turned into a place that wouldn't look out of place at an SEC or Big Ten football facility, and Dairy West has allowed us to have it here. We've taken a holistic approach to our player nutrition, and we're really thankful that Dairy West has made sure that our fueling station is the best in college esports and really at industry standard for any college athletic department.
Now earn up to 4 times the rewards with the ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card. It's the credit card from the credit union you love.
Scott Matlock, underrated recruit, has built himself into one of the best defensive players in the Mountain West.
What would you do if you couldn't fail? Would you see every setback as a catalyst to keep going? This is the innovator's mindset, because innovation demands daring. It's finding thousands of ways that don't work, and the one that changes everything. It's when your unrelenting spirit sees the world's needs and says, I will create something better. So, what will you do? Will you let your genius run wild? Give yourself the space to be great? Set your sights on something even bigger, because we know changing the world doesn't happen by chance. It comes out of the blue.
My friends know me as Derek, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxter. This is my life in the Air National Guard.
Welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena. Welcome back to Mountain West. I am joined by the ever-victorious Diamond Dog. Ready to have a little interview. How are you feeling? First of all, it was a nice little 3-0 win.
Yep, very satisfying win. You know, we did well both of our matches, clean 3-0s across the board.
So first things first, I got to ask, every time we see you up, it is monkey time. It is time to pull out Winston and go bananas. So talk to me. What drives you to that champion? I know internally we might know that, but, you know, sharing it for the audience.
Yeah, I really love primates, and that's just one thing I love about Winston, but he's also such a fun hero to play, and he has a very high skill ceiling. Like, your skill will dictate the outcome of a match most of the time. He's a very honest hero. When you make a mistake, when you are out of line, you will get punished, and you will get direct feedback, basically, telling you what to do. And you can see a few times on Saravasa, I had to adjust playing because they had Doom, and Doom is a brawl tank. He does very well against a Winston, so having to adjust that play style to play a bit more laid back and waiting for better moments to dive is how we adjusted to that play style.
So talk to me about some of the communication with the team. Obviously, Winston's about like jumping in, especially when you do hit that primal rage. What do comms sound like when it's time for you to be that all-encompassing, empowered frontline?
Yeah, so mostly I like to start off with tracking abilities. Like with heroes like Kiriko, you want to look for when she has that TP and when she has that Suzu.
Yeah.
When she does not have either, that is a perfect moment to dive her. Another time is like when the Doom doesn't have Punch or the Sojourn doesn't have Slide. Those are also great moments to go in and dive. And normally that is just me jumping in and then communicating who I'm on by just repeating their name over and over and over.
Well, it's good that you guys have the communication because coming up in the future, it is going to start to be LAN season, both for the Mountain West and the PEC. So forward looking, how are you feeling about that?
Super excited. It's always fun when we travel to get to see new places. I've gotten lots of opportunities to travel that I hadn't before joining Boise State. So it's always great getting to go around and get to play with so many other great players.
And what about the feel of the stage, though? Because it's very different than being back at home and, you know, the computers that you're used to. Suddenly there's a bigger crowd there. How does that impact you?
It can definitely be a little nerve-wracking, but, you know, you just got to lock in, focus on the game, and power through.
Do you ever, like, feed off the energy, or does the energy, like, kind of get the nerves up even more?
Honestly, maybe a bit of both. I think it kind of depends on how things are going in our favor through the match.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited and looking forward to that, but we got to get to one of our favorite moments here. Whenever we have Diamond Dog, we have primate facts. So what is our fun fact of the day, Diamond Dog?
So Winston, one of the gray apes, my personal favorite gray ape, is actually not gorillas. It is orangutans. Orangutans are the only gray ape native to Southeast Asia. They live on the islands of Borneo and Sumatra. There are 3 species, all critically endangered: the Bornean, which lives on the island of Borneo, the Tapanuli, and Sumatran, which both live on Sumatra Island. They're all critically endangered due to threats such as poaching, deforestation from palm oil, and wildlife trafficking.
Well, I love what you do, and of course, always bringing these facts is a lot of fun. I mean, primates, hey, kind of a primate of myself, you know, but not as much of a Winston aficionado, to say the least. But do you have any shout-outs before we let you go?
You know, just my teammates. They were great, especially that last map. I know quite a few times I was quite out of position, and my team had to adjust to that. Clear had some amazing plays. That Vendetta ult on Lee Jung Tower, how could we forget that? But overall, just a great match.
All right. Well, it's been a long day. It's been a fun day, so I'm going to let you go. Go ahead and relax and kind of recuperate, get ready for next week's play. But thank you for joining us here on the interview.
Thank you so much.
All right. Off of that note, we are now done for the day for Mountain West. It's been great watching the Broncos fight through in PEC, fight through in Mountain West. But now we all need some rest, so we want to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time here at the Boise State Esports Arena.